So welcome back to another video, and today we are going to do our usual weekly market breakdown. Now I have asked you guys to vote on YouTube what it is that you'd like for me to break down, and most of you said that voted that you'd like to see some dollar index pairs. Now before we get started, if you are new to the channel, a sub would be appreciated as I provide valuable educational content on a daily basis. And if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And as always, just let me know in the comments below exactly what it is that you'd like me to cover in my next video. I also want to say thank you so much for all the loyal viewers and subscribers. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Now, first things first, I had a gentleman by the name of Wanda who asked me to look at GBPUD because he had a bearish bias on the market. And I think it's quite easy to see why, because we had a close of this market at the end of this consolidation on Friday, and obviously the market now opened at the level of resistance, which is on Monday. However, if you do looking if you are looking for long-term selling opportunities, what I would suggest is wait for the market to slip below the strong level of support that would then return the resistance and start looking for that meltdown to the downside there as well. Alternatively, you could see the market just starts moving sideways, but if you did sell the market at this level, my friend Wanda, then you should be in some decent profits and potentially take profit there of 50% with the stop loss to break even. So yep, my friend, I hope that answers your question. Now next up, we are going to look at the pairs that I will be covering for today, which is the dollar index, GBPUSD, Euro USD, NZD USD, USD CHF, and AUD the USD, which is quite funny because the dollar index has been down for the lateral part of today, and the funniest thing was gold is also trading negatively for the morning. And because of the negative correlation between the index and gold, you'd have expected gold to increase in value because the index is weakening, and sometimes trading just becomes very confusing. But if you start on the monthly time frame, firstly we can see the market had found a strong level of resistance that it came to test for the first time. Again, this is a strong confirmation that we can expect a pullback to this level before this continuation to the upside. Now this level over here also acted as a strong level of resistance, and once the resistance gets broken, it becomes support. So there's a massive pullback expected on the DXY before we can see any move to the upside take place. Now on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Firstly, we know that this is the level that we anticipate the market to pull back to before any continuations. Now drop down on the weekly time frame, what do we have? Now on the weekly time frame, we obviously have this structural level over here. This level here acted as a strong level of resistance, broke above that, it's now testing as support. We need to wait for a clear break below this level. Then on the retest, this will not only be a strong level of support that got broken, that it will be returned resistance, but this will also be an head and shoulders pattern, which is considered a bearish pattern from a technical perspective. Now if we go further down and we drop down on the daily time frame, what do we have here? Now on the daily time frame, it seems like we are in the start of a consolidation area over here. Now if you look here, you can see the market had printed the strong level of resistance. The market had also found support at this level over here. Now the best way to monitor the price action on the dollar index, firstly, is we know we want to be here. Now if you go on the daily time frame, because we are stuck within this consolidation, the market completed this W formation. What we would like to see is we would like to see the market break below the strong level of support, go and test this previous level of resistance that is now acting as support, and then on that retest we can start looking for those buying opportunities on all currencies trading against the dollar for the market to go and hit that previous level of resistance that is now turned support as identified from a monthly perspective. Next up, we do have GBPUSD. Now if you start on the monthly time frame, firstly we know this market has been overextended to the downside. GBPUSD had found strong resistance support. If you look left, you can see the market is trading at a very strong level of support. The previous level of a structure that the market created is sitting at this level, and if you measure the pullback on the dollar index that we expect the market to correct to versus the correction that we expect on GBPUSD, is kind of sitting well in line. Now you might say, do I really think it's going to pull back this high? But if it can fall that low, then it can pull back that high as well. Now you're on the weekly time frame, what do we see? Now On the weekly time frame, we're obviously trading at bearish territory. Firstly, this level over here got broken. It acted as support. All of that support's now turned resistance. Now, we can definitely expect GBP/USD to increase in strength in the short term. Now, we can look for buying opportunities to this previous level of support that is now turned resistance in the short term, and we could potentially, if this level doesn't hold, then we can start looking for those buying opportunities long term there as well. Now, if you drop down on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now, from a daily perspective, you can see we had this long liquidity week based off the fundamental data that we had released on Friday for the dollar index that came through negative, which was the PCE data. Market went down, went on a massive liquidity run, created a equal low. The market also created this information. After information, you expect a pullback to the neckline before the continuation to the downside. Now, the information is also lining up perfectly with the weekly support that is now turned resistance, giving us a further indication that we can expect GBP/USD to increase in value. And then from there, we can potentially monitor the time frame on lower time frame. We can potentially monitor the price action on lower time frames and look for potential sells or continuation in buys. Next up, we have Euro USD. Now, on the monthly time frame, the price action is quite different over here because Euro USD had broken and closed below this level. But because we had a wick that lines up perfectly with the previous week, and also if you look left here over here, the market also found strong support. Now, based off this level, we can see here the market broken below the strong level of support that is now turned resistance, giving us an indication that once again we can expect this market to continue higher in the long term there as well. On the weekly time frame, what do we see? Now, from a weekly perspective, we can clearly say this was a strong level of resistance. The market broke below that, and it's now coming to test it as support. The confirmation would be a weekly close above this level. On the retest, we could start looking for buys. In doing so, the market would then print an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is considered a bullish pattern from a technical perspective. Furthermore, the market would also print this W formation. After a W formation, you would then expect a pullback to the neckline before the continuation to the upside for the market to go and test that previous level of resistance as we identified from a monthly perspective. Now, here on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now, firstly, for the short term, we would potentially like to buy Euro USD to this level over here. Now, you can see this was also a head and shoulders pattern on the weekly time frame, so we can expect the market to find resistance at that level. Now, on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now, we can firstly see the market is currently breaking above the strong level of support, and when support gets broken, it becomes a resistance. Now, the good thing is the market never closed below this level, so that means support is still holding. Now, you can definitely expect Euro USD to increase in value based off exactly where it is now. And then from there, we can definitely start monitoring price action and see if we could look for selling opportunities or continue buying opportunities in the market. Next up, we do have NZD/USD. NZD/USD, if you look left, also found strong support just before that massive liquidity week that it had here to the downside. Now, the previous level of structure that the market created is sitting at this level. Same type of price action that we can expect the market to pull back to on the weekly time frame. What do we see? Now, we can also see on the weekly time frame, the market is currently approaching strong level of support that is now acting as a resistance. Again, it would be good for us to see that and then that continuation to the upside. Alternatively, there is still a buying opportunity for us to that level, so we can continue with this breakdown here as anticipated. Next up on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now, here on the daily time frame, we can see that the market is currently had started this consolidation phase. Now, the best way to trade a consolidation phase is to wait for the market to break above this level. Now, the best way to approach the situation is to wait for the market to clearly close this daily candle, to close above this. On the retest, we can then start looking for that continuation to the upside. We could potentially see the market go and test this level here. In doing so, that would then be a W formation. From there, we can look for sells and then look for continuous buys once the market had hit the neckline of the W formation there as well. Next up, what we are going to look at is USD CHF. Now, USD CHF has not been moving for the lateral part for as long as I can remember, because I've traded USD CHF last week, and if you look on the far time frame, you'll see this market hasn't been moving at all. So I'm just going to remove this off watch list. Next up, we are going to look at AUD USD. Now, AUD USD runs off the back end of the stock market. So looking for buys on here would mean you would be looking for buys on the stock as well. Now, if you start on the monthly time frame, what do we see? Firstly, we can see the market had printed strong level of support. Support got broken and it's now testing, acting as resistance, giving us a confirmation that we can expect that move to the upside to take place. Here on the weekly time frame, we are trading in bearish territories, so we can see over here the market had printed the strong level of support that is now acting as resistance. Now if you go on the monthly time frame, this is obviously what we want to target even safer. That is what we do want to target in the long term. Now here on the daily time frame, what do we see? Now from a daily perspective, I would say that the market is now trading at a price that you would expect the market to do a U-turn from. Okay, but what I see based from where I'm sitting is I'm expecting this market to continue slightly higher and then pull back and then continue higher. Why do I say so? Now this level over here, my friends, acted as a strong level of support in the market. Support got broken. All of that support became a resistance. Market broke above that resistance and it's now acting as a level of support if this daily candle closes above this level. Now, not just that, in doing so, with the market also print this weird looking inverted head and shoulders pattern that is considered a bullish pattern from a technical perspective. Now that's all from my side. Thank you for your time. And as always, cheers for years, my friends. And then just before I go again, we do have this fundamental data coming out that you just need to keep an eye out for. But I will give you guys an update on the NFP probably by Thursday, because I need to wait for the ADP data to be released first. Again, thank you so much for your time. And as always, cheers for years.